What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record, and man, are they coming in handy for our people. This week alone, I got 2 emails from listeners that used Off the Record to get points completely dismissed after being pulled over and issued big old tickets. You know what I'm saying? If you get a moving violation of any kind, don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST, and Off the Record will set you up with a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction where you got that ticket. You will not have to do anything else. Just send them a copy of the ticket, fill out some basic information, and they take over and do the rest. They have an amazing success rate, and you can get 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record using our code at offtherecord.com/TST. All right, folks, on this episode of the podcast, I went to the Smoky Mountains and spent a week with a Porsche 918 and lived to come back and talk about it here. Zack went to South Korea and spent 5 days with the new Hyundai Ioniq 6N and is talking about it. Plus, we get into a little bit of the mechanics of automotive journalism and helping you guys understand how we make the content we make, and a lot of great questions from our patrons over at patreon.com/the Smoking Tire Podcast. Thank you to all of them for helping us out and getting your questions in for the show. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. Let the man turn the knobs.
Let him cook.
Sometimes you have to press play and then dance around like this for 3 hours for $400,000.
And just point, yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah. And do the heart. You got to do the heart hands.
Right.
And just like, I love this check.
Right.
I love
but
this
don't
money.
do the my heart goes out to you.
No.
No.
Well, I guess you can, sort of.
I mean,
people seem fine with it.
Right. They'll give you $1 trillion. No, they won't. I'll talk about why I don't think Elon Musk is going to get $1 trillion.
JJ, sound is very low. So, JJ, you're listening. We're on a new board, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. But let me know when it sounds good, because we've got a lot of control here now.
We're going to turn it up one notch per minute until your eardrums explode.
All right, turn it up a little bit. Now it's landing where it should on the iPad, but tell me if it sounds scratchy or strange.
Okay. I love real-time testing shit.
It's the only thing we can do.
Right. It's the show then. This is it, right? We're going to fucking do the show. Bunch of things to talk about today. I just got back from 8.5 days on the road. Mm-hmm. Why I added the half, I don't really know.
Sometimes that extra half is important.
Dude, the first flight home from Atlanta, 6 a.m., 6:40 out of Atlanta. I fucking landed at like 8:20 a.m. I had a whole day. Like Hannah, I got home and Hannah was like just waking up. And I'd been up for 8 hours. It was weird.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you got up at
I got up at the equivalent of like 1 a.m.
Oh.
California time. And then I got home, flew home, worked out, got lunch, and then had to go speak at the Grand Seiko annual club thing with Joe Kirk, drank some like whiskey, but not like a lot of whiskey, but there was a tasting of Yamazaki, so I tried some of that. But I had to drive the Manx to Hollywood and back.
Oh.
And then go straight to a birthday party. So I'm like, I get to this birthday party at like 7 p.m., and I'm essentially like tripping.
Yeah,
You
you gave yourself international jet lag.
Yeah. And I'm at this party, and I'm trying to like be fun and whatever, be a good husband, and be a good neighbor and friend. Fortunately, the party was a neighbor, so it was like across the street from my house. But at like 8:40, I was like, I'm sorry, my brain is non-existent now. And I went home and I was asleep within like 6 minutes, and I slept for 13 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a record for you?
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
up
that
there. Yeah, it's up there, man. I was fucking donezo. Yeah, I was on this Road and Track Experiences Blue Ridge 500 in the Porsche 918, which was a very, very cool experience. And I'd never really driven a 918, so it was a very unique opportunity to not just like have a go, but literally like live out of it for 5 days, which is really crazy. But also you learn so much. And this car in particular is very special because it's one of the 4 pre-production cars. It can basically never be sold to the public. Porsche's only option is to either keep it around and use it for, random appearances and stuff like that, or to crush it. So it's either priceless or worthless, which is a very funny way to think about a car, especially a car that, were it a kind of like fair market value situation, it would be a very, very expensive car. These are now regularly selling with numbers that begin with a 2. And if it's a super special one, potentially even a 3. So of course everyone is like, "Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Worth it?" It's like, what? What does that even mean? These aren't even real numbers anymore.
I feel like even at any price point, I just drove the RTR Mustang the last week, and I know that the question will be like, "Is it worth it?" It's such a subjective. It's like, what is your financial situation? Yeah. And the things keep changing so much. Like the dollar's lost so much value in the last 3 years. I think it's like 40%. I think it's like we're 60 cents on the dollar. So if the Mustang was 60 grand, it's a good Mustang. It's 100. Yeah. It's like, well, that's a lot for a Mustang, but
it's like
the math is insane.
Yeah,
and who? Yeah,
exactly. So, and I want to talk about so forgetting the money aspect of it for a moment and the collectability. I want to talk about it as a car because it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. But first, a lot of people sent me this Reddit thread that was apparently on top of the cars subreddit all weekend, and I'm not on Reddit anymore. But it talked about us and me, and it's essentially a post about how can automotive journalists be objective when they're being given all these things of value, flights to international destinations, luxury hotels,
sure,
things like that. But it's framed in a way that it's an incorrect premise. And I just want to, without being mad about the existence of it, because a lot of people in the comments, which I did read some, were like, "Hey man, like here's why this goes this way," including, I forget if it was Jack or Mark from Savage Geese, but one of the people from Savage Geese wrote a very lengthy explanation of effectively, how you can still be mostly objective while going on a press launch, and there is a way to do it as best you can, right? But the post, which was from a user called Cooking Boy, says, "I was listening to the Smoking Tire podcast recently, actually a big fan, so maybe they'll listen to this one too, right? And he mentioned that Porsche gave him a 918 Spyder on loan for a 1,000-mile road trip free of charge with everything paid. Well, that's not an accurate description of how that works. I got the car as a press car from Porsche. I don't know what everything paid is meant to accuse, but Porsche doesn't give you money. They don't give you a gas card.
Right.
They don't give you, they give you a car. That's what they always give you. So they didn't buy my flight. I was on a trip for Road and Track magazine, which is a magazine that borrows cars from manufacturers all the time. And, borrowing a car, this happens to be an expensive car, but it's no different than borrowing any other car. Same agreement, same whatever, right? And I thought everybody understood that. But here, this says, as someone who has dabbled into supercar ownership, I can estimate the cost for a regular Joe like me to put 1,000 miles on a $2 million car. So he's putting a comparative value on me driving this car on a road trip, like a per mile value, to him having a similar experience by effectively renting one. Which I understand the position, but in order to write about cars, you have to drive cars. I don't understand how I would do it any other way. And then it says, the next one says, and his math is that I'm getting effectively a $50,000 to $100,000 gift from Porsche by being able to put this. Now, I could see how somebody would see it that way if the only way you can drive a car like this is with money.
Sure.
I found another way to drive a car like this, but the fact is, there's no way I could generate that type of value from driving this car. I don't, you know what I mean? We get paid in seat time.
I mean, I think what he's almost describing is like a Shmee example, where if you have to own the car and then it's yours, and then when you whatever content you make is based on that. But that's you're going to lose money on that as well.
So next sentence. Obviously, Matt isn't doing a review of a 12 years old 918. Also, factually incorrect. We are about to talk about it for 20 minutes on this podcast, which absolutely is a review. I am literally writing a review of it for Road and Track. That's another thing. So I'm creating two different pieces of content for two different media outlets about this drive. So that isn't a gift. That's a providing of a thing for me to generate content about. Now, yes, again, it's a fucking expensive car. If you have to go out and earn the money to buy one or pay some insane amount of money to rent one, like, yeah, it is. But I don't have a way to do that. And then they go on about the 911 Turbo S launch. We're flown to Spain, wined and dined. How can you be objective about that? To fly to that destination, that's effectively $20,000 a person. And we've talked about this a lot. Yes, objectively, you are flown somewhere pretty, put in a nice hotel, and given a scenic environment in order to drive this car. But that's way cheaper for the manufacturer than sending cars all over the world. You're also interacting with the engineers who built the car. You can learn a lot more about it. And so you land, you fly in, you land. It's like 4 p.m. You go to dinner, you go to bed. The next day, 6 a.m., work all day until right before dinner, shower, dinner. Yes, there is wine. Go to bed, 5 a.m. the next morning, you're back on a plane to go home. And it is nice to be in a hotel that isn't crappy. It's nice to eat a meal that isn't crappy. A glass of wine at the end of a nice day is an all right thing. And I mean, and in the videos, at the bottom of all the YouTube videos, we say, Porsche or whoever provided airfare, hotels, the racetrack, meals, etc. It's in every video, every single one, exactly what was. I mean, it's not an itemized receipt, but the obvious items. And I think there's a lot of people who have been doing this a long time who go on press launches and then offer fair criticisms of the car. You and I went on the Volvo EX90 press launch and essentially tore that car to shreds.
Yeah.
The Turbo S launch, I said quite a few things about the car that were negative. It's crazy fucking expensive. It's not much better than the GTS for most things. You genuinely can't feel the difference a lot of the time. It's so heavy. The convertible's over 4,000 pounds. And it's going to be, God help you if you own one out of warranty.
Sure.
I think those are pretty fair criticisms of a car.
I mean, we had the Dark Horse. I remember criticizing the steering on that a lot,
Yeah.
and the RTR has the same problem.
And and then another misunderstanding. I understand it's part of the job, but this would never fly in any other industry. Folks, we got to take a quick break for advertisements, but this one, boy, I couldn't be happier with this one. Brooklyn Bedding is in the house. They sent us a new king-size mattress to try out, and they were like, look, I guarantee that your bed is not as good as our bed. We're going to send you a new bed. It's going to feel like a unbelievable high-end mattress experience, and this is a totally reasonably priced mattress. Mine is like the elite one. It's actually the nicest one that they make, and it still doesn't cost a fortune. And their high-quality materials are designed to last a lifetime. It's like my bed got a first-class upgrade without the first-class price. Look, I don't mess around with beds, okay? I have a bad back. I have bad knees. I need support. I'm obviously heavy, and so I need a bed that won't sag after like a year. And so while I've only had the Brooklyn Bedding mattress for like a month, I am real confident that this is a well-made bed. The materials feel good, the craftsmanship is tight, and no matter which side of the bed I sleep on, it feels like a really, it's firm on the bottom, but soft on top. So it's soft to the touch, but firm in the support. I really, really like it. It is a masterpiece. And Brooklyn Bedding makes every mattress in their Arizona factory. No middlemen, no gimmicks, just top-tier quality and real American craftsmanship. And they know sleep is not one size fits all. That's why they offer like 10 different mattresses for everybody, every sleep style, even hard-to-find sizes. They've got a sleep quiz on their website, and you can find your perfect match in under 2 minutes. Do you sleep hot? Well, I sleep hot, and Brooklyn Bedding uses Glacio-Tex covers and Copperflex foam to help keep you cool and comfortable all night long. And Brooklyn Bedding offers a 120-night comfort trial. Love it, or they'll help you return or swap it hassle-free. Go to brooklynbedding.com and use promo code TIRE at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. brooklynbedding.com, promo code TIRE, 30% off site-wide. Support our show. Let them know we sent you after checkout. brooklynbedding.com, promo code TIRE. I'm telling you guys, I have never slept better in my own house, and you can too. We are also brought to you today by DeleteMe. You know DeleteMe. I've been talking about them for probably a year now. I guess it's maybe almost been a year. They do the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal information from data broker websites. What is a data broker website? Pretty much anytime you sign up for something online, your data gets sold to a data broker website who then sell it to other people who can do whatever the heck they want with it, right? And so DeleteMe knows that your privacy is worth protecting. So when you sign up with DeleteMe, you provide them with your personal information that you want deleted, and their experts take it from there. Then a couple of days later, they're going to send you a personalized report showing all the places they found your information. Now, some of that information can get automatically deleted. Some of it requires a couple of clicks. Sometimes you have to do a digital signature or something else, another step. But either way, it's not a one-time service. Once that all happens, then like a month later, they send you the next report and then the next one. And each time, DeleteMe finds less and less because there's less and less out there. It's never going to go to zero because we keep using the internet, but DeleteMe is always there looking out for you, removing this stuff in real time. In my case, I end up getting a lot less fake phone calls, scam text messages, things like that. My problem has always been with the phone texts, the fake texts, and those have really gone down compared to my wife, who does not use DeleteMe, even though we both have a very similar phone plan. So take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe now at a special discount for our listeners, 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. That's the only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. And now back to the show. I understand it's part of the job, but this would never fly in any other industry. Imagine any time a company launches a new video game, they fly journalists in. Imagine any time, blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, this exact thing happens in almost every industry.
Yes.
And in a lot of times they pay people directly.
Yes, true.
It happens a lot more egregiously. I know people who write about watches. They fly somewhere ridiculous. They put on the watch, and then they just get drunk with the watch on. They don't really do like I know someone who's a bourbon reviewer, and they skip with the fucking pretense. It's let's get there, let's get shitty.
Well, and there are people that get free trips and stuff for all kinds of products, hotels, restaurants. Gun YouTubers get sent guns for free or get brought on trips. Like any type of product now. Yeah. What I think a lot of companies have realized what car companies long ago realized, which is if you get like a quote review for it, it's cheaper than advertising. And now in the last 15 years with influencer culture, it's far more effective. Yeah. And some people don't just get the free thing, they get paid to say the thing. Yeah. And it happens in the car world and often is not disclosed, especially if they don't live in the United States and they're not legally required to. It happens in a lot of a lot of products, video games, computers, all kinds of stuff. People get kickbacks of all kinds. So I think that is, that exists in the world more than this person might realize, unfortunately.
And also, basically, it's how can I, last bit, it says, to credit, I'm sure people like us and Savage Geek try to be effective, but how are you objectively critical when they routinely give you experiences you'd otherwise never be able to afford? And they then say, which is why I only start asking actual owners of their cars for their experiences before making purchases. It is useful to speak to owners of cars about their experience. However, there is a ton of sunk cost fallacy in people who buy cars. People want to not seem stupid, and a lot of times they'll tell you that their car is better, is great and better than it is, and it's perfect, and and that's not true. Conversely, a lot of times people really want to bitch about something, and their car could be a complete piece of shit, and it really wasn't. And so, lastly, I can only think of people with fuck you money like Chris Harris or Hoovie's Garage or Top Gear who have been able to bluntly criticize OEMs and their cars. Chris was on the Turbo S launch, by the way, with me. Same wine and dine, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
he went through 2 sets of tires that he didn't have to pay for, and I didn't do it. And I'm not, this is absolutely not a criticism on Chris. I just and I don't want to do this. I'm not just trying to read the comments and be mad, but this person is a fan. They listen to the show, and their misconception of how it works. So if that's a person who's a listener, and it seems very well-meaning, but is misinformed about what's going on, and if after this explanation that's still not good enough for you, all you got is Consumer Reports, bro. They buy the cars, but they're not buying Turbo S's. They're not buying everything.
They also, because we have a Consumer Reports login thing, and I was looking at it the other day, and one of the interesting stats was on the predicted reliability survey, the Rivian scored last, but it was first in customer satisfaction.
Right.
So that car is known for having problems, yet just to your point, the owners are no, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's cool. But all these things are going wrong with it. Yes, but it's number one. It was number one in would buy again.
Yeah.
And so that is a great example of the sunk cost fallacy type of thing.
Yeah.
So I understand this person's point. And trust me, the automakers know what they're doing. They are definitely trying to give you lots of good feelings, and here's everything's really nice.
Sure.
And there are people out there who will say nothing but nice things in reviews over and over and over again so that they can go on every trip.
Yeah.
But what we do, and we have to do, is you have to separate yourself from the environment you're put in, and you just look at the car. You drive the car, and you review it objectively, and you point out the things that are wrong, and you point out the things that are good.
And I also it feels it hurts a little bit because the hotel in Spain was nice. It wasn't the nicest place I've ever been. Yeah, the racetrack is nice. Yes, the food is nice. Yes, those things are nice. And yes, there is a quantifiable value to them. Porsche has a number where we're spending whatever it is, $20K a journalist to do this. Man, I wrote an article. I shot the podcast with all those other guys who were there. We made a fucking super produced video out of that. I wrote a script. I had we put a lot into that. You know what I mean? And I have this pulled up. I'm going to show this to the fucking camera. This is the revenue from that video. $811. So that's 30 hours of flying. Okay? And a full work day. Now, look, is driving a 911 Turbo for work fun? But don't you fucking think that isn't work when I have to make sure all the shots and all the fucking audio and all that's going? No help. I was that's fun, but it's better than a lot of people's work days. But believe you me, that's you have one chance to get all this situation, right? $811. So what are we talking? So how on fucking God's green earth, God I don't even believe in, am I supposed to drive this car when this is the earning potential of a piece of content?
Right. So if you rented a new Turbo S, if that was even possible, it would probably cost more than that money, more than that. So,
like, there is literally, like, you have to be on the first batch of people to drive this stuff if you want any kind of traction at all, right? If the content is to have any real value, it needs to be first. And if you need to be first, the only way to do it is to get there. So you have to be invited to begin with. And look, yeah, being invited feels nice, but you have to be invited. You then have to have outlets for the content, you know, and then, but if you really do have to pay your own way, and there are folks who, like Dan Neal, because of the Wall Street Journal, Hannah Elliott, because of Bloomberg, sometimes you do work for outlets that can and do afford that, but there is no fucking chance that I can get to drive this car if I have to fund it.
right. And to clarify that really quick, what the Wall Street Journal would do is they would send Dan on the same trip as the journalist, but Wall Street Journal would pay for the airfare, the hotel, etc.
Yes. They would basically reimburse. I don't know if they'd reimburse Porsche. Whatever it was, they wouldn't take the money for the thing. And like, that's the ideal. It really is. That is the ideal. But like, it's just not possible. Like, there is no other option. So we do the best we can. And I didn't mean for this to be 30 minutes of content on a guy's Reddit post, but a lot of people, you know, sent it to me. It's worth not arguing with the person or with their opinions, but at least making sure that they understand what the reality is of the situation.
Absolutely. Because I'm sure, you know, this is like for every phone call that goes to a senator's office, there's probably 50,000 angry tweets. And then for each tweet, there's a grumble at the supermarket or whatever. So like, this probably represents the thoughts of a lot of people that wonder how the system works or discuss how the system works. And so I think it's a good thing to cover.
Yeah, and when you're talking about like how are you objective? Like, I mean, these are humans with feelings and opinions, and they're writing about how these cars make them feel. Unless you're putting every single car through, you know, Car and Driver does numbers tests, like that's about as close to objective as you get. They're consistent with their testing, and they put the car on a scale, and like numbers are objective. But a person telling you what a car is like to drive, that's not ever going to be totally objective. People bring all their baggage from forever.
Well, and to be fair, like Car and Driver does the number stuff to separate them from other magazines that are more like subjective in how a car feels. But Car and Driver also will have those lines in their articles and stuff about like, but how did the car feel to us? What did we like about it? So that, again, it's subjective, and depending on the size of the person, they have different opinions on the seats or what kind of, like, I grew up with muscle cars. I tend to be more into them than you, and that's just because of what cars we were around when we were 7 years old. Like, so everyone's bringing all of that stuff to the table.
I think if you really have people that are career at this point, if they've been doing it for 15, 20 years, these kind of folks, or the level of thoroughness that the Savage Geese guys go to with their testing and their nuance, or Kyle with his EV stuff, I think, man, everyone's doing the best they can. No one's getting super rich. We're not choosing where those destinations are. You and I would so much rather have a Turbo S delivered to our front door for even one day than have to fucking fly across the world to do it, even though the pictures look nice. You know, the headline, I went to Spain to drive a Turbo S, is a fucking real headline. But in terms of a business choice, dude, I'd rather have the car for a day. COVID was the fucking shit for us.
One good thing about COVID for us.
COVID, the manufacturers had to suck it up and deliver the cars because they couldn't have the fucking events.
Yeah.
Man, were we killing it.
We got like 2-day loans.
Oh, it was fabulous. Do what you want to do. That's preferred, actually. You know, I just got stamps in my passport for places I can barely remember.
Well, then you also, like, you can kind of live with the car for a day or two instead of... Sometimes these events, your drive time it could be 8 hours, which is mostly road, or it could be one.
Yeah.
It could be 1 hour.
Dude, that's the other thing.
And those are, I mean, and
that's
then
brutal.
I hate those for so many reasons. OEMs have their reasons for doing it, maybe some good, some bad, but you just don't get to learn enough about the car.
Yeah.
And that makes it really tough.
Well, that's why having a 918 for a week puts me in incredible position.
Right.
I learned a lot about this car. I have to say, in 2013, when it was the Holy Trinity, I thought this was the least interesting of the three.
So did I.
The Ferrari was the pretty one. The McLaren was the crazy one.
Also pretty in my opinion, but yes.
And this one was the nerdy one. Let me just say that time has been incredibly kind to the 918. You could fundamentally update the center touchscreen garbage piece of shit, take off the steering wheel and put on the current GT3 RS steering wheel, and put updated battery chemistry in the battery pack and updated e-motors in the axles, and you could just sell this car as is right now. Like the rest of it, just leave it. Just sell it the same. It does not feel like a 15-year-old car at all. You know, I only got to drive one for like 5 minutes back in the day, so I really, it's like I'd never driven it. Fucking Porsche with a carbon tub to work with, fucking hell, this car rides better all the time than my Spider. This
adaptive suspension? I forget.
It has adaptive shocks, but it's also double wishbone, and it's got in the rear is cantilevered also, I believe, and it's the ride is so beautiful. It's almost as good as a 720, like right up there with a 720. But driving at 1,000 miles, there is literally no comfort or ride quality downgrade from like a Boxster. Like I'm in the right driving position. My New Balances fit. The 2013 buckets, I'd like those to be updated to the current buckets. And I did have to use the Tempur-Pedic pillow starting on day 3. On day 5, bro, I drove this car for 10 hours.
Whoa.
I drove over 500 miles on day 5. Guys, got to take one more break from the action for StrapHabit. Dude, these straps, I love watch straps, right? I like to change up my watch all the time. I like to change the look with the season, the outfit, and now with some of these quick release straps, tool-less changing, I can change a watch strap in like 5 minutes. The StrapHabit watch straps is coming in hot. They have a ton of straps, a ton of different materials, all the important sizes. StrapHabit was started in 2019 by a big-time watch collector. His wife came up with the name after she noticed that he had a habit of strapping out watch straps, right? StrapHabit understands the effort and expense that goes into finding the perfect watch. But unfortunately, sometimes the included strap or bracelet is uncomfortable or doesn't reflect your style. That's like me. I've bought a bunch of watches that come on these like alligator straps, and I dress them all down with casual straps. They focus on involvement in the watch community, including collabs with many of your favorite brands and channels, even my Notice Canyon. There's a review on the StrapHabit blog that shows all the different straps that will fit the Notice Canyon. It's up there right now. Go check it out. And they have all different places in the market where the right strap is not available, like deployant straps at affordable prices, different ranges of sizes, including the odd 19 and 21 millimeter for stuff like Grand Seiko and modern Rolex, unique colors you won't find anywhere else, and straps designed to accompany very large and very small wrist sizes. The StrapHabit straps feel really nice. I've got the rubber, the canvas. Their deployant clasp is really, really good. I would definitely recommend that. They've got so many 5-star reviews on their website and on Google Business. So get some for yourself. Get some for gifts and others at straphabit.com. Use code TST15 at checkout for 15% off your order. That's StrapHabit.com and code TST15 for 15% off. Lastly, we're brought to you today by TruWerk. Fall weather changes fast. It could be hot, it could be cold, it could be wet, it could be windy. I was just out there in Georgia and Tennessee last weekend, and it was all of those things in one day. And whatever the fall weather throws at you, TruWerk is performance workwear that's built to stand up to it because it matters. TruWerk was founded by a trade professional who was tired of wet, heavy gear weighing him down, and TruWerk set out to make workwear that keeps pros comfortable, capable, and ready for whatever the day throws at them. Designed with advanced performance fabrics for lasting comfort, all-day mobility, and year-round job site protection. Every piece is tested on real job sites with trade pros, so when the conditions change, you're still ready. They've got over 50,000 five-star reviews from pros in every trade and every climate. My favorite is the TruWerk pants. They are super, super durable. They look light. They feel light when you wear them. When it gets hot, they're not too sweaty, but they hold up to a bunch of washes. They hold up to being kneeled in the ground. When I'm like working around cars, I'm like up and down and kneeling around. They're really comfortable. They fit my belts like perfect. I've got their like cargo work pants, and they are super, super useful. So upgrade your day too with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at TruWerk.com with code TIRE. That's TRUEWERK.com and code TIRE. And now back to the show. Fucking hell, dude. This V8, naturally aspirated, fucking smokestacks right behind your head. And at idle, it's just that beautiful sound of engineering where you just, it's that whine of cam gears and stuff, you know? And then when you start to lug it a little bit, like you're loafing along at like 2,000 RPM and you just like tip into the pedal and like load it, but at low RPM, you get this growl, like resting, like you just woke a fucking tiger. And it's looking at you like you have 10 seconds to get the fuck out of here before I eat you. That like, you know, that like low, it makes that. And then it turns into swarm of bees as you bring up the revs. And then after about 5, the bees start attacking the tiger. And then after fucking 7, the bees and the tiger are having like a full-on brawl with each other. It's bananas how this car sounds. And the fact that there's no turbos and the exhaust is like 7 inches long and just goes up.
It's so rad.
I mean, that sound is like, God, do you never get tired of that. That is just unbelievable. And the PDK, you know, the PDK with an e-motor, it's as smooth as it's the same. I mean, it's indiscernible how it shifts from a car that's now. You know what I mean? It's like, it shifts just like today's PDK. With the front axle motors, it has hydraulic steering. It has an old hydraulic steering like an old GT3 RS. It's sort of a similar system to that. So the steering feels a lot heavier than today's cars, but you do get used to it. The feeling is really good. I feel like if they did the car today, they would do electric steering and it would be better. It would be a little lighter and it would be a little sharper. The ratio isn't quite as fast as I expected, but like still, with the magic e-motor shit at the front and the torque vectoring, this is like this.
Now,
is
does it have the magic steering like NSX does?
Yeah, better.
Wow,
it's better than NSX. Yeah, but it's like it's the very definition of like driving a roller coaster that's just on a fucking. If you have the stability control on, it is just on a rail, and if you turn the stability control off, you can oversteer out of every corner. Which I only tried once. I was not brave enough to do it more than that. There's no normal situation do you ever need to put the shocks in sport or the traction control in anything but regular.
Yeah, of course, unless you're at a track and you're Harris and you want to go for it.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
It's so fucking fast. Like, the numbers aren't impressive in 2025. It's like 887 horsepower. But like, with the e-motors and like the way that it delivers that power, along with this just the engine's like based on the Spider RS, the Le Mans car, and it sounds like Le Mans.
It sounds amazing.
It sounds crazy.
What's incredible is it weighs, according to Google, like 3,800 pounds. So
Yeah.
it weighs what a new Corvette weighs.
Yeah.
But this has a hybrid system, 3 electric motors.
Yeah. And you can, it's because of the tub, you can hear the bushings, you can hear stuff happening. So it's not like refined like a Boxster would be. It's definitely
No, it's a raw. It's a more like raw.
Yeah.
There's a symphony happening inside, but
Yes.
you hear a lot of, and like the sound. Because I drove one years ago for filming, and like there's like a sound that resonates when you know in the open cockpit, and the V8 bounces around the carbon stuff a little bit. Yeah,
But you can cruise down the highway, no problem. And if I actually, after a while, when I would get stuck in traffic, I would put it into electric mode. Hybrid mode stinks. The engine sounds too good to be kicking on and off all the time. So you essentially have E mode for creeping around parking lots and or sitting in traffic, or sport mode, which is engine on. And because there isn't like because you're not using that hybrid mode. To keep the engine on, you put it in sport mode, which also activates a sport gearbox program, which really I shift myself in any of the twisties, but on the highway, the gearbox program is really good. And with the torque fill and the choice of gear, I actually found myself leaving it in automatic on the highway almost the entire time. I thought it did a really good job giving me the amount of power and gear I needed for highway driving, although on the fucking Dragon, it was just, you got to go, obviously manual, but and it had, even though it had Cup 2s, I drove it in the rain twice. It was fine. There were some funny quirks to it because it's a prototype. I had to get all these USB-A cables for my phone, and my phone had no idea what this car was. Like, the Bluetooth did work, but it kept getting like error pop-up messages on my phone. And then when I would turn the car off and like walk away with my phone, my phone wouldn't make any sounds. I had to my phone still thought it was connected to the car, even though the car was like long gone. So that was a little wonky. And it did have a check engine light, but I was told over and over that it doesn't mean anything. It's just a mixture of prototype and production parts as the car's been like serviced throughout its life. Some of the handmade parts were replaced with production parts, but it didn't seem to affect how it drove at all. It's scruffy. It's got like 13,000 miles on it, so it's rock chips and shit, which is just the best. Like, left it parked outside. You treat it like a car, and so that's really it's really like it's so usable as a car. It's such a Porsche in the way that like it has to pass the same like shit as like a Panamera or whatever. Like the driving position and the ergonomics are like normal, not like weird and shitty. So that I could sit in it for like almost 40 hours and not have a problem. You know what I mean? The windshield wiper and the HVAC and all that stuff like works perfectly. The ride is great. If you're just cruising, the fuel economy isn't even all that bad. It's very refined. Nose lift works. Like after like 2 days, it really just became a car, which is both good and bad. But
I think that's going to happen with good McLarens when you're on it really hard, but are exciting. But now with the new ones where they move the nose lift, once everything's really easy to access, and it becomes more livable, which is what everyone has asked for. But then we get there and we go, oh, it's just a car now, and you go, well, which one do you want?
Well, it just made it, because it was such a good car, it made me sad that so few get driven. Like, to do 1,000 miles on it is probably the most any 918 was driven this year, and like it's more than a lot of them will go ever.
Yeah.
And it just made me like sad that Porsche put so much energy into making this car work so well and still like not driving it is such a good investment. That for so many people that earn enough money to buy one of those things, capitalism will beat car enthusiasm every time.
Yeah.
It's too profitable to not drive it. And that's such a fucking bummer, because if you could get one that had miles on it, or if you could have bought one new, you could have fucking basically dailied this thing for like a decade for free. And like, that's what like car enthusiasm is like really about. Like, I just feel like there's certain cars, like if you bought a Zinger 21C, I get it if you only want to drive that a couple of times a month. It's comfortable and everything, but like, you know,
it's a one-seater essentially.
Normal.
Yeah.
This you could just use as your car, and you'd be the king of the universe if you did that.
The other thing is that these cars exist and are good because car enthusiasts exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these happen because the car enthusiasts work at Porsche. They work in the factories. They go, how do we make these things better, faster, you know, stronger, all that stuff. Like, the pun is not intended, but it's happening. Like, that is driven by the excitement and passion people have for cars.
Yeah.
But then they get bought by people who just see it as a stock that they can invest in or a thing that they can just sit on. And it's like, this wouldn't exist if it weren't for this group of people who like to drive the thing that you now just keep in a garage.
Yeah, and like, to be fair, like, I think someone who buys one and doesn't drive it can still be an enthusiast.
They can.
It's just, you know, it's just sad, because if you earned enough money to buy one in the first place, you could probably earn that much money again just doing what you're doing. And that car could be a thing that gives you feelings instead of a thing that is earning a profit for you. Not everything needs to earn a profit for you. Like, my dream is to depreciate a Ferrari F40 more than anybody ever has. Like, and to do that, it means I have to make a lot of money and be comfortable putting this Ferrari F40 into my entertainment fund. Mm-hmm. Like the money you pull out of your pocket in Vegas for one night, and you go, $200 is and if it's gone, it's gone. Like, one day, maybe one day, that's the dream. That's the dream board, is like Ferrari F40 used as a car until it's fundamentally worthless.
I think, you know, one of the problems, and it's a fundamental problem for our society we're very aware of, is that there are a lot of people at that income level in the top that can't see number go down because it hurts them in their soul. And I think it's probably something innate to our DNA. Like, I have this, and now it's, quote, going away.
Yeah.
You know, the value is diminishing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, sand being blown away by the wind.
Yeah.
And if they could tap into those feelings of enjoyment and just accept that that's okay sometimes, we'd probably be way better off in so many arenas.
And it's a human it's a
Cars
human
to
thing.
save society.
It's a human thing, and every once in a while I think you get a really rich person that does kind of get it and treats the car like a car, you know. But it's just so often that when you have a society that's like so capitalist, the car is capital, and you want line to go up. You want to be a savvy investor.
Well, the people the people that have enough money to buy these cars,
at that level,
they've lived that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it's going to be more prevalent, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it as I drove 20,000 miles for free, or I drove 20,000 miles and it only cost me this much to have this experience, or, you know, I drove 20,000 miles and it was expensive, but man, was it fun, you know?
You know what's funny? I just realized, because there's probably, I was just imagining, like,
I bet they lose a lot of money on their leased G-Wagons.
there's that, or when they go on a ski trip,
Yeah.
or and I'm just going to blanket statements, like, when rich dudes go on hunting trips that are very expensive, like, they're not getting that money back, but they're doing it for the experience, right? Yeah. So what if you drove your 918 enough miles to reduce the value by 20 grand, which is the same as you going to Africa and shooting something expensive.
Totally.
And those experiences you're going to have are going to happen every day.
Yeah, Cooking Boy says it's $50,000 to go 1,000 miles.
Right. So, yeah.
It's you know, and granted, this car, the car I drove, is, like I said, it's unsellable. So the only value it can deliver anymore, it cannot deliver monetary value to anybody. It can't. It can't be stripped for parts, and it can't be sold for profit. So what's left? All that's left is joy and education. you know, and it's very cool that I have developed a reputation within the people who are in charge of delegating who gets to drive this shit, of just being someone who doesn't break stuff, and will be honest and respectful, and will give praise where due and criticism where due. And they thought that it was not cool that we had not had a chance as the Smoking Tire to talk about this car yet. Road and Track reviewed the fucking car. I didn't need to do it for Road and Track. My boss thought it would be cool to do a retrospective on it, and I compared it with a brand new Turbo SE hybrid Panamera that I drove just before it. We talked about on last show. And dude, you can draw. I mean, this is not to Zack. This is going to be very obvious, but to anyone else, you can draw a dead straight line from this car to Lamborghini's entire lineup right now. You know, to go from this to 10 years now, we've got the Temerario, which has the same technology for adjusted for inflation. It's probably 25% of the price. I think the Temerario is objectively faster than the 918.
Surely, yeah.
In
New
many
technology,
ways,
yeah, of course.
And I think I happen to think this technology, paired with weight reduction methods, can really be something amazing, because it allows you to use very exotic, weird, interesting engines that otherwise don't need to be as practical. If they have to rev to 10 to make power, we got e-motors, baby.
Right.
If I want to do a fucking 2-liter 16-cylinder that sounds like a fucking hornet's nest you just shot a flamethrower at, you know, but it makes no torque, I got fucking e-motors. You know, I want to do a motor that runs to 12 or whatever, like e-motor. Like, you can now put a weird-ass, high-revving, stupid, impractical engine in a car.
That could be a cool way to make a performance hybrid, because around town you want torque.
Yeah.
You need torque. So you could have the e-motor doing most of the lifting there. And then as you get up in the canyons, you get up into the screaming $6,000 territory, 6 and above.
Well, this is the new Bugatti Tourbillon, the 16-cylinder, naturally aspirated engine paired with three e-motors. Like, that's what we're doing now. And so as long as those cars don't get super, super heavy, I mean, the 918 at least proves it's possible to have one that starts with a 3. I believe the Temerario's weight starts with a 3. You may want to look. I don't know if anyone's put one on a scale yet, but maybe. I forget the quoted weight. But these performance hybrids could be sort of the thing that keeps crazy, naturally aspirated, super high revving, motorsport grade engines. I mean, alternatively, everyone's using 4-liter twin turbo V8. Like, okay, that's fine, but give me some weird shit. Like, this is how we're going to do that. Like that. Think about that, like Lanzante, the Tag turbos.
Oh yeah.
They're putting these old F1 engines, and they're
turbo,
doing something to make them run. But
like the Mercedes 1, the AMG 1. Sorry, like that was a tiny thing that revs to the moon, but it needs electric help as well.
Well, think about the Von Shadow hybrid drive thing paired with the Lanzante. I mean, that might make it way more drivable, but you could still have this crazy engine. So I am writing about the 918 for Road and Track, and if there are questions in the thing about it, now that and to answer the worth it thing, it's like what percentage of your net worth is it, and like, but how about this? Is it worth it? Yes, if you buy one with some miles on it and put more. Like, do not spend up for one of these that you can't drive. Spend. Because there's none of them are like shit boxes. Buy one with fucking 10,000 miles if one exists, and a few rock chips, and put a set of tires on it and go.
I would add that cars like this are worth it because you can use it as a car. So it's not super compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, there are compromises, yes, but like in the supercar realm, it's not, you don't get in and you go, why is the steering wheel 4 inches to the right? Or why can't I fit in this thing? Why is it uncomfortable and it rides like garbage? You can do a lot of stuff with it, which I think makes it more worth it than some of its competition.
My rollerboard Carl Friedrich rollerboard bag and my backpack fit in the frunk together, which I thought, I thought for sure I'm going to have to wear a especially narrow pair of shoes. I'm going to have to bring either a duffel bag or a smaller suitcase. I thought my backpack was going to have to ride shotgun the whole time. No. It was only marginally less practical than a 911.
Do you know, are they having any of the the battery issues that the P1 is having?
Nope.
Wow.
They're coming out with an updated chemistry for people who want it that will supposedly give the car 30 to 40% more electric-only range.
Wow.
And it will also output more electrons to the motors. I don't know when that's coming. I don't know how much it is. They just said it was something that they're working on for these cars. But no, for real, like you could change 2 or 3 things and just make this now, and it would feel like a brand new car. And in fact, they fucking should. I mean, they really just should. They should do a successor to this. I mean, if they've got access to Rimatz's electric motor technology and, with the stuff that they're doing now, I think they could build a fucking bad motherfucker of a car.
Sure.
That would be a real good time.
Yeah, they haven't needed a Halo car because like all the GT line has just sold so well. But I think Porsche's overall business right now, based on that report from a week ago, like they're having some trouble not moving normal cars.
Yeah, no, they are having the normal cars are really very expensive for people right now.
Yeah,
and
the problem is, Halo cars are usually in a time of plenty for a company because they can divert the resources to that. So
no, there's no indication that a replacement or successor
be cool, though.
is. Yeah, I mean it would be, and I just this is where this hybrid supercar technology started really, and it's good to go back there because when this car came out, you go, man, I don't know if that's going to age well. And this car's now 12 years old, and yes, actually, the only things about it that haven't aged well are the same shit from 2012 regular Porsches that haven't aged well. Phone connectivity, crappy haptic stuff. Like everything else about this car has aged really, really well. Having to release the electronic parking brake every time, having to turn a key while also having that razor shifter, the shaver shifter, and guys, fuck it.
Intersections of technology.
Yeah, I just give me a start button and have the fucking things. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of funny the mishmash of different stuff, but the way the top fits in the frunk is really innovative and cool. It was great.
It's a gorgeous car. I mean, the profile of it is just timeless. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. And it was a real contrast between people who lost their mind when they saw it and people that just either didn't know or didn't notice at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people walked right by it and just know. Not a Porsche? Yeah, okay. Just, maybe because of the color, maybe. I mean, it's not that like flashy. There's no big when the wing is down when it's parked.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the front of it, you can trick yourself into going, oh, Boxster came in. It's not, it's different for sure, but it's not crazy
but
different.
But if you don't know cars, it doesn't immediately stand out as that's a 7-figure car.
Right. Whereas the LaFerrari, one, it has a Ferrari badge, but also it looks more like a 7-figure car. Yeah. And the P1 as well, especially from like the back.
But this is, God, if anyone out there, if you're listening to this and you own one of these, fucking drive it. It would be such a tragic thing to not use it as a car. It's so great as a car. And I want you to you want to talk about Hyundai?
Let's talk about Hyundai.
Let's talk about Hyundai.
The embargo's off, and then we can go to the people.
Let's go. Let's talk about regular people cars for a minute. These are not regular people cars, but I get it. It's not relatable, but I had to do it. Science.
Well, yeah, of course. That's part of the reason we sought out this job as children was to drive the cool stuff. So, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Roof Rodeo video is up on the channel now. It's up today. So go check that out. Also, not particularly relatable, but the video is fun.
It is. There's some. there's some car to car we did where you were driving, and I was looking in the rearview mirror, and I was like, okay, we got the shot. Like, we got enough drift, we got enough street drift. Close course, but like we got enough.
The road
tarmac,
actually was closed.
Got enough tarmac drifting shots where I was starting to get nervous producer brain.
Yeah, the road actually was closed.
But you did a very good job. And when I watched the footage, like you stayed in the line, like there was not a lot of room, but that car's not that big, incredibly, because it's based on an older car. And I was like, oh, you're right there next to yellow and right there next to guardrail.
Right there next to guardrail.
I know.
I was a very close bumper tag thing.
Yeah,
I did not tag, but it was inches.
It was inches.
Yeah.
It wasn't feet, because there wasn't feet to be had. Yeah, that was exciting, man.
Yeah, go watch that video. But Zach went to Korea.
I did.
To drive some Korean cars, or a Korean car.
Yeah, I went to South Korea last week, as we talked about on the show, to drive 2 cars. One was the Hyundai Nexo, which hydrogen car.
You can't be objective, though, because they flew you there. No,
I'll be objective about the Nexo. You can't refuel it anywhere outside of California, and the infrastructure here for hydrogen is terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend anyone get a hydrogen car unless you have the most specific route and an amazing lease deal, because it's too compromised in too many ways. And if you want to know everything I feel about those, go watch my Nexo review from a few years ago. But the big story, the reason they think they primarily invited us, the Smoking Tire, is Ioniq 6N.
Yeah.
Performance EV. We drove the Ioniq 5N, which we liked, loved it. Had some amazing new technology, the shifting most notable. This has all of that stuff and more, and they have also refined how the shifting works, how the sound works, etc. So it was very impressive. Generally, it weighs like 4,800 pounds.
Oof.
Yep.
That's heavy for a small sedan. Yeah.
I know, but it's an EV.
It's kind of the same
EV.
as the 5N, right?
It is. Yeah. It's like the same size. It's buried in my notes. It's basically the same size as the 5N. It looks smaller.
Yeah.
The roof is shorter slightly, but otherwise it's basically the same size. This thing plays visual tricks on you. Some angles it looks good. I think the front end refresh on the 6 is good. I did not like the front end of the old one at all.
Yeah,
the lights
strange.
and everything were terrible.
Yeah.
The back end from the rear 3/4 still looks strange to me. It looks like a CLS that got rear-ended. And it's what's weird about this car, and the reason the proportions are this way is because you have a lot of headroom. Like, it's a very bubbly canopy, but the front and rear droop so much to make it slippery. So you've got this almost like, it looks like an animated movie where the cars, for some reason, always had like a big canopy because they want the characters of the movie to be seen.
Yeah, like the Jetsons.
But they want the front ends to be small and cute and whatever and friendly, I guess, or like Pixar movies do that. So this reminds me of that a little bit. Again, 600 horsepower. It's very quick. They did a lot to this thing besides the 6N to differentiate it. It's got reinforcements all throughout the chassis. It's got new suspension. It's got new pickup points, bushings. I think Sachs dampers. They're adaptive, but they're retuned. The batteries have been upgraded a little bit. It's got better thermal management. And, there's a lot done to this thing. Brakes, lighter wheels. You can get aero packages for it. One of the aero packages that they're working on, it has like a full swan neck wing. I mean, I was looking at it and I went, I remember when Koenigsegg came out with this, and it blew my mind. Yeah. And race cars had it for sure, but it was like this new tech of, it's supported from the top. And now I'm looking at a Hyundai that's like, you can get that at the dealership.
That's crazy. Okay.
So that was all pretty wild. So I got to drive it on the street and the track. On the street, I would say the car is stiff. It is a performance car.
The 5 is stiff, too.
It's probably very similar to that. The damping is great. We had a lot of speed bumps in Korea, even in the middle of the farmland for some reason. But one and done. You go over the bump, it soaks it up well. At higher speeds, it does a really good job of that. But if you're going over chattery stuff like we have here up in like Angeles Crest or Encinal or any of the cracked roads, like you're going to feel that stuff through the pretty stiff chassis.
Yeah. The 5M was like that, too. There wasn't really a way around. It was so heavy that like you have to make it stiff to turn. Like
exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's the price you pay, I guess.
Yeah.
Fast, obviously. 0 to 60 is like I think 3.5 seconds. It's almost a full second quicker than the regular 6N. Top speed's like 146, I think. Top speed doesn't really matter, but it's just limited to whatever it's limited to. The big thing with this is the shifting technology, the way the sound is paired to the shifting. And then, of course, all of the different drift optimization modes. So I'll try to keep it concise. And to the person who on Reddit, some of the things I don't like about this car, despite the trip, are a bunch of the end features that they were very proud of having put in this car. So shifting, it's timed better with what you're doing and how you're driving, and the sound is timed much better. Okay. So I think before the sound was fun, but it sounded, and it was pretty accurate to like what the quote revs were showing, but it didn't have as much of like a build through the rev range in terms of the sound. Now it's really good. Like they refined the sound.
Like a gas car.
It sounds like a gas car, and it revs like that, and it's really timed perfectly.
It sounded
with
like an
what it's doing.
Elantra N before. Does it still sound like an Elantra N?
It's a little better, but it's still very much like
a 2-liter turbo,
beefy two. And then they have the space sounds,
yeah,
and the one that sounds like a circular saw, which I really find grating and I don't like. But I was impressed with the upshift, downshift.
It does sound like a circular saw. That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
They have one that's
on.
called like I don't remember the names, but one's like very future spaceshipy, and it's fun, and I bet your kids will love it.
Yeah.
And then there's one that I don't think anyone will enjoy because it just sounds like you're walking through a Home Depot and someone's demonstrating something, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, circular saw.
Can I get a key made? And it's like, in a minute, yeah.
It's called "We're Here to Help."
Yeah. So one of the things with the shifting is they made the gears, air quotes, shorter.
Okay.
So they showed a graph.
They put a tight, shorter
It's got a close ratio gearbox now.
Yes.
So I think up from 0 to 100, you now shift 4 times instead of 3.
Okay.
I believe that was
right.
or 3 instead of 2.
Went with the 373 at the rear instead of the 355.
And I got to tell you, that's helpful because we got to do like a drift skid pad thing around a cone and then try to connect it to figure 8 on a mixed wet dry surface, which was super hard in this car.
Mixed wet dry figure 8.
Mixed wet dry figure 8 in an electric car.
In an electric all-wheel drive car. That's really hard.
And like I found out later, like I'm not great at EV drifting. I have almost no experience in it. Well, not since 2016. But I've done like 3 drift schools that had a lot of figure 8 and circle, and I went, all right, like I know how this works. And man, when you have like, first I tried it with without the gears, so it was like unlimited wheel speed, really challenging. Yeah. And another thing they've added, so we'll talk about drift optimization, is they took notes from you and like Kamisa and some other people. With the 5N, even when you said full traction off, full rear wheel drive, it wasn't. Yeah. There was still stuff going on to like help you a little bit. Yeah. And so when I first went out there doing the circle, it was in this like 90% rear, 10% front setting, and I did not like it. Yeah. Because the front, I'd start the swing and it would come around, and then the front would like fight me and pull outward a little bit. Yeah. And I went like, what's going on? And the drift instructor said, all right, well, let's go full rear. Night and day. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted with the drift car. However, there's a problem with that. And I didn't notice it on the skid pad, but I noticed it when I was trying to drift on the track, is that the steering weight changes drastically when you go to full drift rear mode. Sure. They programmed it to be very light. Oh. So in normal sport mode, the steering I think is actually a little too heavy. It's trying to do that illusion of feel that like Camaro did. But when you go to drift mode, it was like super light. And the end guys said, "Oh, we did this to make it easier to
like a rear wheel drive car, or to flick it
to make it easier to like flick," which I understand. But what I didn't like is I had gotten used to this certain weight, this weight of X for a 20-minute lap session, and then I switched to drift mode, and I think I broke the thing. And now my brain has this predictability of how much input my hands have to give to steer the car, and that math has changed.
Changes. That's
so I didn't like that.
Well, because like with the Mach-E, remember, like we liked the rear-wheel drive ones better than the front-wheel drive because if there's no front motor, the steering was just better. You just like actually felt more.
But I think with the Rally. With the Rally, it was so good
they fixed it.
The programming in that car was excellent, and the steering didn't get really wonky. So in this, if I had a big note for steering, it's just make it consistent. And I would make the sport steering lighter, and I would make the drift steering the same. Yeah. Because I didn't like that at all. Drifting without gears is so difficult. Once I switched to the gears mode, fine. Yeah. Circle, just all day. Because I was able to limit my wheel speed. Yeah. So it was really helpful for that. So that was one of the things. They've added something called N pedal,
Oh.
which is it helps you like turn in a little bit. It's almost like I think they said in normal pedal mode, lifting with full regen is like 0.3 Gs, and now it's 0.6.
Yeah.
And it will also grab the inside front wheel to help the car turn. But when we were driving fast on the track, like I was using the actual brake pedal so much that I didn't really notice it that much. It was only when I went out with June Park, with the engineer who designed it, and he drove and he's like, here's end pedal on, here's end pedal off, just lifting off of the gas pedal. Like then I felt it, but during driving,
But
I
like
couldn't
when
really tell.
you were trying to drive fast, it made no difference.
It didn't. Maybe it was working in the
5N
background,
had
but
it too, you know. So
oh, it did. I thought
yes,
okay.
It did. So the only time I ever noticed it, I did not notice it on the track. I noticed it a lot when doing like a descending canyon road where there's a lot of like off camber downhill stuff. Like I mean, to be very specific, it was going down the backside of Laurel's Grade. Any downhill fast canyon, it really cranked up the regen and it helped rotate the car into the corner. Having said that, I didn't love it, and I liked the regular, max regen before iPedal, and then combined with the manual gears, I liked a lot better. But
yeah,
that was in the 5N.
And then the pedal thing, you can use it with the drift optimizer to like initiate. It basically just helps you tuck the nose. But I just feel like between the gears and the regular brake pedal, and the brakes were pretty good, and the brake pedal feel was pretty good.
Have they changed or simplified the menus at all?
No, and that's
because the 5N is like, I get lost in that motherfucker.
I should say the brake pedal you need way more pedal travel than you should. That's another complaint because the throttles are very reactive. The steering ratio is good. So your brain goes, all right, these two controls, I get this reaction with this much input. And with the pedal, it's like I need 2x input. So that was just a little bit too weird. The menus are insane. And like
you can literally get lost.
I did. I had the car for 2 days. I got to do this drag race with June Park, head of the N Division. It was like we're in a meeting talking about how the quarter mile time will be the same whether you're in shifting mode or not shifting mode. And I go, oh, let's prove it. Let's do a drag race. And he's like, okay. So we did that. But at the end of that drag race session, we're both going to take drive the racetrack back. And he starts to put his car in drift mode. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to go tandem drift with June Park right now. And I couldn't figure out how to get the thing back in. And I had it like set in drift mode, but not over here. And there's too many things. And I know that if you own the car...
And he's like fucking decaying it, and you're like, your traction control's on.
100%.
Oh, no, that's...
He swung it out right away, and then I just went, I'm just going to chase him, and that was super fun. And then watching him initiate and, and also watching him make, try and loop once, and he's just laughing his head off.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he looped it once, which made me feel good, because I'll tell a story in a second. But the menus are just... It's like, I know there's people out there who want to build their own computer or tweak every little thing. And if you like that, sure, this is the car for you.
Yeah.
And the car has the technology to allow us to control all these things because it's not an ICE car. But it's just so much. Yeah. And it needs...
Like, just leave the top
shortcut
half
buttons
of these options. And
there were a lot of things like you want to turn on drift mode, but you have to go turn traction control off first in this other menu.
Yeah.
I get it. But
and
maybe that's a legal
thing. Do you also want to do that?
You should do that.
Like in a configurator where it's like you can't get, brown seats unless you get the tan headliner. Yeah. Do you want to switch to tan headliner? Yes.
Yes. It should be exactly like that. It'd say this requires this.
Yeah.
But instead of just saying... hey, you didn't go tick this box. I go, I don't know what the box is.
Yeah.
Can you show me where the box is?
Yeah. Can I have a shortcut to the box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was but the weight balance is great. It's like 49.51.
Yeah, that's perfect for doing slides.
It's really good. It was a ton of fun on the track. It's very neutral, like oversteer, understeer. You can manage it really well. I like the gears. I thought they were a ton of fun. It helped me for braking zones and stuff like that because I haven't driven a fast EV on the track for a long time.
What track were you
Oh yeah, we were at the old F1 circuit in south of South Korea.
Really? Was it cool? Was it a cool track?
We ran. Well, it was weird. We ran next to it, so they had 2 tracks. So we were at the F1 track,
but not
we
on,
on it. We were on a very good track that was like 9 corners or maybe 12 corners, and near us. At lunch one day, we hear something being tested, like, and we went, what the fuck is that? And we never got to go over there. It was like someone testing a GP2 car.
Sure.
So we were on the auxiliary track.
Yes.
But it was just a nice flowy thing that had some
I was in the
good
building.
corners and stuff.
At least tell me I was at the dinner.
At one point, they were like, do you want to go see this wall where there's some paintings of like Schumacher and some other guys on it? And some of the guys in the group were like, yeah. And I went,
We're all right.
It's not the guys aren't standing there.
Yeah.
These are like an artist rendering of them. And if it's not really good, I don't know how good it is. I haven't seen it, but then I'll be even more disappointed for this walk. So I think overall, I think it gives me hope like the Ioniq 5 did of like you can add fun to these cars.
Yeah.
And I do credit Hyundai for doing that, I think, pretty damn well. And there are definitely some negatives to this car, which I've already spoken about. It's going to be like $70,000 probably.
Fuck out of here.
It's going to be expensive.
Oh,
it's like limited run in the United States. I don't know how many there are, but I just think that like in the early EV days, we thought they're all going to suck and be boring. And this thing, I mean, they've been doing this N division EV thing for only a couple years, and they've come super far.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. There are some negatives about it, but otherwise it's a comfortable car. The interior looks great. You got heated, cooled seats, manual seats, but like every other gizmo you could
manual,
want.
Heated and cooled is an interesting combo.
The seats fit nice. Yeah. Seating position's great. It's impressive. I think the design of it is subjectively odd in my opinion.
You know what it is?
Angles,
it's like a powerhouse gaming PC where
100%.
It can do anything you want, but also trying to figure out how to make it do any of those things is not as intuitive as it should be.
I think it's well put. It's people who are like, oh, you have this computer? You can overclock it with this program. And I go, no.
Yeah.
I just want it to work.
No, I have an iPhone.
It's like iRacing. I'm more of a Forza Horizon type of person. So it's just a little bit too much customization. But the platform is fundamentally really fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good evolution. The funny story I'll tell, and then we can go to questions, is so I did like 3 orientation laps, maybe 4 with this engineer. And my cameras are mounted, so we trade, and he hops out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go do my in-car. So I do like, I think 3 laps, 4 laps. I'm out there for a while. They didn't tell me when to come in. I went, then, all right, you're going to have to flag me. And there's a section of this track that's like a high-speed right-hand sweeper, slightly downhill, to a left-hand sweeper. It's pretty, like, I don't know, 90 miles an hour or something like that.
Like it's Sonoma? Like the downhill S's at Sonoma kind of thing?
Longer than that.
Okay.
And only 1 right, then 1 left.
Okay.
And I'm turning right, and I'm literally I go, this car's really fun. It's super balanced. Little lift off the throttle, tucks the nose, back comes around. And as I say, I swear to God, I guess I'll keep it in the video. As I say the back comes around, and I am suddenly a 90-degree to direction of track passenger, just and I'm just going, what happened? Because I didn't feel it happening. And later, I thought I was talking to one of the guys in the group who's a very good driver. He's like, well, the EV's like you heat the tires up really quick. And I hadn't driven a 4,800-pound car.
How many laps do you think you did before you spun it?
7, 8.
Oh, that's a bunch. Yeah, you get the tires real
and kind
hot,
of cooking. And I probably did something a little different on this turn than I had. But the irony of saying it and proving myself true.
That's the Instagram clip for sure.
It was real embarrassing. And dude, I was like, man, I felt so many things in that moment. And they didn't flag me in. I do a couple more laps. I get my in-car done a little slower. And then I go in and I park the car, and Hyundai, Derek's probably listening right now and going, what? I get out of the car and I walk up to Gabe from Edmonds, who's a very good driver, a cool guy. And he looks at me and I'm like, what's going on? And I get closer and he goes, nobody saw. And I go, what? And he's like, you were through those trees? Nobody noticed? He's like, I noticed, but you did it in the perfect spot.
Nice. That's all right.
This is how we learn.
Yeah. Did the wheels exit the tarmac?
No.
All right. That's okay. If you stay on the tarmac, you're fine.
I mean, the back wheels are on the rumble strip, but that's tarmac.
That's okay. That's
it's
still
paved.
tarmac. That's still tarmac. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and
if the car comes back like full of grass or something, that's.
And the reason I felt really bad for so many reasons about myself and everything, but when I did that lap with June at the end and he looped it twice, I went, you know what? I don't feel that bad anymore.
Yeah, it's fine if you don't hit something.
Yeah, it's just I'm learning. I'm learning. That's how we learn.
Just go, I went for it.
But damn it, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And I was so charged with adrenaline when it happened, I forgot that the line preceding it was the back comes around. So when I watched the footage,
that's great. That's the Instagram clip for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So 6N, man, 70 G's though. Boy, have to try one for ourselves.
It's tough because it's probably going to be more expensive than a Model Y Performance.
Yeah.
And I think you drove the 3 Performance. And you had really good things to say about it.
The 3 Performance was good. I like the 5N better. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't love how the 6N looks. I think the 5N looks nice.
The 5N, but they played this trick here too. Like, the 5N is big in person.
It's back a couple feet.
In this picture, it's back a few feet, which makes it look like a small hatchback, which we've said. And then when we get in it, we go, whoa, this thing is like a lowered Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah, no, it's like a lowered Q5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good
Yay, Korea.
stuff.
Let's go to the Patreon, of course. If you want to ask us questions for the show, get the live stream, get the show early, get extra show, get ad-free show, get all of the things. Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you do it. And let's go to them. Can you zoom in a little bit? Because my glasses, that is the wrong focal length. Fat6 says, I bought my dream car, a 911 Carrera. I love it, but I feel like it's trying to kill me. I've had some quick, sporty cars before, but I've never had a car that gets sideways so suddenly and regularly. Tires are good. Do you think I just need to get used to it or avoid lift-off oversteer? I mean, I don't know what year your car is, but, like, something is wrong. Like, a Carrera at this point should not be a car that is trying to kill you.
Especially on modern tires.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that means if she's talking about, like, an 85 Carrera or, that's those do require a little bit of different driving technique. But like sideways, suddenly, and regularly. That's something that sounds bad. That sounds like that should not be happening.
Yeah, that you should probably have your suspension looked at. You should look at your tires to make sure they're good. I mean, suspension, I say that if a bushing's gone and suddenly the geometry of your car is changing under load, you getting toe out in the back, like that's dangerous.
Yeah.
And you should fix that. But if you said your tires are good, but if your suspension's fine,
I mean,
are you driving weirdly?
Suddenly, get sideways so suddenly. That's not a word that should be happening there. I mean, and even so, unless you're talking about a really old car, you have to be over driving the shit out of one of these things. If you're talking about you get sideways suddenly, I would maybe consider your technique is not.
You're right.
Not right.
If this person came out of a fast front-wheel drive car and they're used to going into corners, especially if it's a modern car, like too hot, you can lift off the throttle, just full light switch, and it tucks a little bit better, and the car saves you, and now you got something where the weight's different. You might have to reevaluate your method. Yeah,
I'm going to say your technique is all wrong or something on your car is broken. Ride the Ford Lightning. What company would benefit the most if we elect a Democratic president in 2028, and which would be the biggest loser? Stellantis would be the biggest loser. They need those Hellcats back in production.
The Hellcat division would,
they need them shits back in production. What company would benefit the most? I think it would be anyone like Rivian and Lucid, people selling almost exclusively luxury EVs.
Yeah. And people,
and Porsche, also who's getting hammered on their luxury EVs right now. They invested a lot in the EV production only for, to have those the regulations not really go their way.
Actually, I think the broader point is that any company that makes cars out of the United States would benefit because the tariffs might dissolve. Because right now, Porsche is one example of a company that's getting hammered on tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piggly Wiggly Deluxe. Okay. I know nothing about watches. A friend of mine found a clean Seamaster Aquaterra for $1,000 on Facebook Marketplace. On eBay, they seem to go for 5 times that price. Thoughts? Fake or stolen? Those are your 2 options. There's no such thing as a deal that good. Doesn't exist. Fake or stolen. Temple of the Dodge. I thought that was Doge for a second. Temple of the Dodge. Tall guy with a bad back. What are some sporty cars with great seats? 911s. Mercedes. E63
Oh, yeah.
will have great seats.
I think Acura seats are great. Well, Acura seats are contoured well, but they're narrowish.
Yeah, I think the Integra Type S has very good seats with lumbar support.
Yeah, that's key.
What else has really good seats? What have I driven this year?
What did we drive that had? Oh, no, that was the Totem.
The Golf R. The GTI and Golf R have nice seats. Those are good. You'd like those. But with a bad back also, and every bad back is bad in a different way, you may want to consider a sporty crossover because your doctor might tell you this, that you really don't want to have your feet going out so much as down. You want like a sporty crossover like a Macan or a SQ5 or something like that. You may have a better position, not just with your back, but with your lower body. Like, for instance, I should really be driving more of a crossover. It's better for my back, but like I don't want to.
I would add seats that have a longer thigh or an extendable thigh is really important because it'll hold you in the seat better so you don't slide down. And something that not adjustable lumbar is great, but if you have adjustable side bolsters, you can like lift your torso up more so there's less pressure on the lower part of your spine. Right.
D shit the Aston says, what cars are great in spite of themselves? For example, 5th gen Vipers are fast despite bad welds, build quality, and construction. I mean, basically all Vipers. All Vipers fall under that.
A lot of Lotuses,
Lotuses.
They're
Esprit
tinny and uncomfortable, but they're awesome. Use German cars.
My Countach certainly has some build quality issues from the factory.
C63 AMGs.
Anything
hard to work
Italian
on.
from the late 70s.
Pretty much all the fun shit that's not from Japan.
Yeah. Hoopty157. What has been the most random yet satisfying customer car to come on one of the road and track experiences with us? One person brought an Alpha GTV, an old one, which was very cool of them.
Yes.
This most recent one, first electric car. Someone brought a Lucid.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they were only mildly inconvenienced.
Which Lucid did they bring?
It was an Air GT, Air Grand Touring. Yeah.
I think that has the range is like 480.
It's a long
or something.
range. Yes, it's a long range. But they got a little hosed because one of our hotels had chargers, but they were broken. Which it was the one that was in the middle of nowhere. It was a Topoco Lodge, which is on Tail of the Dragon, and they were just able to get like into somewhere that had another charger. Other than that, like I was impressed though. That was cool. I don't know if there's been. The cars themselves are not that weird. I mean, it's a lot of 911s and Boxsters and Corvettes, and there's always a Ferrari or two. There's always a McLaren or two. There's been an M car here and there. There's been a Cadillac V car here and there. There's not a lot of like super oddball wild card stuff. I think if you're going to do a long road trip with your partner and some luggage, there's really a handful of cars that are very good at that. You know? And I think because of the track, because there's a track day, most people are not bringing their vintage cars. Like once in a while someone does, but the track is usually if someone's got multiple cars and they go, I got a new Carrera S or a 1983 911 SC, 1,000 miles in a track day,
Yeah.
it's going to be the new car.
We can talk about this on a later show, but I drove Marco's slant nose like over the weekend.
Oh, the yellow one that he bought from my old client?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cool, fun, fast. Like, we'll get into it later. But one thing I noticed that stood out was like, this is loud on the highway. Just because there's less sound deadening and the science of NVH was what it was. So 1,000 miles in an old 911, like, a little noisy.
A lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Listen and sometimes watch said you've driven a bunch of safari cars. Are they more fun in urban settings compared to regular street cars? I love the idea of a supercharged lifted beater BRZ, but for obvious reasons I can't test drive one. Yes.
Do it.
Off-road sports cars are more fun in urban settings than regular sports cars. Mm-hmm. Every time. No notes. Yes.
And people will smile at it all the time. And like you're driving not a clown car, but like it's an interesting experiment that people will like.
Yeah. It's like driving a Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plymouth Jewish Space Laser. When modifying a car, adding horsepower and torque, at what level of increase can you really feel it seat of the pants? I'm getting a tune on my SLK 55 that's supposed to be good for 30 or 40 horsepower.
I didn't know Marjorie Taylor Greene had an SLK 55.
You should be able to feel 30 or 40 horsepower. You should.
I think once you're into like the 250 and up arena, percentage, like 10% increase, you notice.
Yeah.
Below that, you don't. But you'll feel
It's
it.
more about percentages than it is about actual number of horsepower. If you've got a 700 horsepower car and you increase it by 40, and you've got a 100 horsepower car and you increase it by 40, you have a really big difference.
Yep.
So if you can increase your horsepower by 10%, I think you would start to feel that. Especially, the difference is a lot of times if that comes with a sound increase. If you put an exhaust on a car, it might only give you 5 horsepower, but it's loud, and so you feel, feels different. So Rolex Cave Dweller. What cars age well with higher miles, and what other cars wear quickly and age poorly with miles?
Well, aging well, does that just mean they stay intact and remain reliable?
What cars hold together?
So I think for a lot of like Japanese cars,
Yeah.
You can get in a car with, the Lexus is a good example, but hundreds of thousands of miles, and when you go over a bump, you don't hear that many, there's not that many secondary sounds. Whereas other cars, you go over a small bump, even at 80,000 miles, and you feel like the doors are falling off.
Yeah. Fiesta STs, were great when they were new, but they did not last to 100,000 miles. There's a lot of cars that really start to fall apart above 50 or 60,000 miles. Minis.
Yes. Because they're stiff and they're complicated, a lot of plastic.
Yeah. A lot of the Japanese stuff really holds from that period of time, or early 2000s, really holds up well. But also, like Ferraris. High-mile Ferraris are like usually pretty good mechanically. If they've been kept well and driven a lot, like they're really nice with high miles.
E36s with miles are terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any Audi with over 50,000 miles on it, ever. Carl's Mazda ball soup.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. We need to make Carl's matzo ball soup soon. It's getting to be winter. It's soup time. Am I still playing guitar, and how do I like the PRS? Well, 2 separate questions. Yes, I play guitar still, but I sold the PRS back to Anthony at the Sloan School of Music, who I bought it from. I traded it for a Mike McCready special edition Fender Strat that has it's called a relic, which is like fake aging, but it's fake aged to be exactly like Mike McCready's guitar, and it sounds like it, and I like it a lot.
Nice.
Okay. Eddie. All right, I will answer this. Eddie Vedder's enunciation teacher. I would do Eddie Vedder's speech therapist. I think that would be a good twist on that. But yeah, why has WCCS been successful, but Haggerty's facility nearby didn't last? A few reasons. One, I was here first, and I offered a better service and a better product at a lower price than they did. I own my buildings, And this business is a very much a hands-on business. You need to be an owner-operator. You need to have hands-on the operations. You need to know your customers. And it's not a business that's going to work if you're renting a building and you don't own it. And if your corporate headquarters is in Michigan and you're operating a brick-and-mortar business in California. That's not how this business works. And they were trying to make it like a lounge, like a club, like a social club. And like, if you don't have food and beverage, just stop your stupid fucking social club dreams. It is going to suck. I run a parking garage, not a social club. It's a fancy parking garage. We'll have your car ready for you to go do something fun, bring it back dirty, and you don't have to think about it again until you want to drive again. Not, I have a nice living room where you can come hang out with your friends that's worse than the living room you probably have at home,
right?
And it doesn't have food and beverage. Like,
you have to bring your own lunch. You know, it's like having a city park, but it's inside with cars. It's like, oh, bring a blanket and your computer and your lunch and drinks and water.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Cars and coffee without the fucking coffee sucks balls. Like, you got to have the coffee. Like, you're going to fucking have breakfast with your friends, and the cars are just there at a certain point. Like, that's why. So that's why the shop in Seattle and Texas, and why the motoring club are successful, because they're fucking restaurants that happen to have some car storage and some social element to it, but they're restaurants. So anyway. Stu Dog went to intersect Austin and met Wes from Notice. There you go. Fucking around with some micro brand watches. Wes gave me a hint of the color for the final. By the way, Stu Dog was the one who called me out for doing the extra one. And he's less annoyed by it now, having talked to Wes about what the next color will be. So maybe we convert a customer. If we go from annoyed to less annoyed to, right. Oh, I'd like to have that actually. Altima SVJ. I have a newly acquired Lexus IS500. That's sort of like an Altima SVJ, and I love it. I've signed up for a track day at Chuckwalla, which I hope to use to explore how the car behaves with traction control off. I have moderate track experience, but I'm considering canceling because the Lexus doesn't have the brakes and cooling to stand up to track work. Do I sandbag a little at the track and take the day, or cancel and save my road car for a GT use? I think that your car will absolutely survive a track day at Chuckwalla. I think the worst possible case scenario is you have to do brake pads and fluid when you're done, and maybe tires. Having said that, Chuckwalla is a great track for this car. It is so easy on brakes and tires. There are only two high-speed braking zones, the front straight and the back straight, and both of them are followed by long, sustained periods of third and fourth gear open sweeper cornering. So your brakes get hot twice, but fully get to cool down before getting hot again. That's like really easy on brakes. If you really care, do pads and fluid ahead of time.
Right.
Cooling, that engine will stand up to track work.
Just watch the temp gauge. You know, it's got one, but I mean, it's a Lexus engine. A
naturally aspirated V8 in a sedan with a nice front end opening, designed by Lexus. You're not overheating that engine on the track. I would pull up whatever gauges you need to pull up to watch your temps, and maybe you want to proactively do pads and fluid if you can. But I think you could also just show up at the track with your car and have a really nice day. And you could learn your pads go first. Oh, your fluid goes. You can learn.
I think you drive like 8/10, and especially if you were, I don't know what your track experience is, but like moderate, you know.
Well, so then you're driving 8/10 anyway.
Yeah, and if you want to practice a little oversteer, make sure that's okay with the track event. But there's some good places to do that out there, and some bad places to do it. So be careful.
Yeah. Kim Jong Vroom.
That's great.
That's fucking awesome. As someone who's had the opportunity to try the new Ford GT and the Ferrari 296, both V6s, which would you prefer when it comes to performance and body control? And do you think the production run Ferrari has made the Ford GT less special?
296 all day.
I'd probably rather have a 296, but I'd probably rather have... If it was just about driving dynamics, I'd rather have the Artura than both. I actually think the Artura is a little nicer to drive. Well, no, I think the 296 is a little more special to drive. The Artura is nicer to use, and I don't think the current 4G, the newer 4GT, for me, has remained all that special.
I agree. When I see them, I still think, I'm like, wow, that's one of the best looking things ever. But then you get inside and you go, oh, it's a little underwhelming inside. And then we drove it I've only driven it briefly. It was at the track in Miami.
Yeah.
But
you got the idea.
I got the idea, and it didn't give me anything I don't get from a 296, and it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah. In 2017, the 4GT was the jam, and I could get over the sound of the engine, which wasn't that great. Other cars have since done that same formula better.
Yeah.
The cars are both faster and more exciting.
And 296, also a V6 turbo, sounds way better.
Yeah. The 296 is pretty rad. I like the Artura a lot as well. I know not everybody does. NK, debating between a new Turbo S and a new GT3. With the right mods, can the Turbo S come close to the GT3's on-track mountain road performance and feel in terms of handling? No. You cannot hide 600 extra pounds. There's just no way to do it. So don't bother. The Turbo S has unbelievable body control. I would not dare fuck with what they have done there. The body control from that shock with the 400-volt system is as good, I am convinced, as it can be.
Right. Don't pull it out and put in some expensive coilovers.
No.
Even if they're installed by Joey Seeley, probably.
No, don't. Leave it. That's a touring car that can also dance. It's heavy. It's always going to be heavy. What can you do? You could cut... If you're only driving in the summer, you'd use some tires. Maybe you get some lightweight wheels.
Lighter wheels.
The wheels that are on it are not anything special. So you get some lightweight wheels. You save some unsprung weight. That can help. Maybe you get it aligned for more performance driving. But, no, you cannot hide 500 pounds in this car anywhere.
And I think the weight will contribute so much. I mean, they use the word feel. So there's on-road performance. You shouldn't be driving so fast where someone in a GT3 is leaving you by a second, and you're like, I'm trying to chase them.
On the road,
they're the same.
The rules of good judgment and morality matter more than the car. Either of these is way too much car for road,
and they will be equal in speed if you adhere to the morality and rules of the road. I think feel. It's the weight thing. So it's never going to brake or turn quite as eagerly or as willingly as the GT3 will, just because of the physics.
Yeah. Having said that, I mean, if you're going to go on a road trip, the Turbo.
Yeah.
If you're going to drive it in 4 seasons, the Turbo. If you care more about acceleration, the GT3 will feel slow compared to legitimately slow.
Because of torque. And then horsepower later.
Now we have fucking hybrid torque on top. I mean, the GT3 is probably a second and a half slower to 60 than the Turbo. So the way the Turbo comes out of corners is really impressive. And the GT3, if you're not up in the revs, it ain't shit.
Yeah.
If you're driving hairpins, you might be thinking about downshifting to first. So anyway, they're just different cars. And Christian says, will the Aventador SVJ be a multi-million-dollar car in 15-plus years? Maybe. The problem is I really don't know how many of them they made. And it seems like there's too many. When I go to car shows, I think there are too many. Do you have an official production number for the Aventador SVJ?
I was looking up what they're selling for right now. So on Bring a Trailer this year, we got one for 1.3.
Sold for 1.3?
Sold for 1.3.
Okay,
so it's gray with numbers on it. And then earlier this year, one was sold for 800.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's miles, no miles.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's, could be
SVJ.
a variety of things. I mean, they're all same kind of thing. You could drive one of those for free because they were like $750 new. So multi-million, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a weird financial prediction. And it's not like, it's not like there's stick SVJs, right? And the Revuelto really is. People might want the non-hybrid. Might be like last before the hybrid or whatever, you know. Any other info
Total
there?
produced SVJ Lamborghini registry, it says 900.
Yeah.
So, and that might be coupes. So,
Yeah. I think there's kind of a lot of them compared to, like, relative for how expensive they are and how rare they seem. Like, I think there's a disproportionate amount of them. There was a lot of profit in those for Lambo at a time when they really wanted to fucking do a lot of profit. Like,
it's interesting. They made 918 Porsche 918s.
Yeah.
So about the same number as the SVJ coupes.
Yeah.
But the 918 is also so unique to the Porsche lineup, whereas
Yeah.
the Aventador SVJ, it's like
The nicest one of the
the
one.
nicest one of those, but then
Yeah.
the next version of Revuelto, it's got a lot of the same things, but improvements. So it's
Yeah.
just
7 Mary 335i. Pretty good. Okay. 10 years with my company. I recently became CFO. To celebrate, I want to buy a watch. What do you recommend for a chronograph in the 8 to 12K price range? Okay, a few options. I recommend Omega Speedmaster, one of the higher-end Speedmaster professionals. You could do either like the dark side of the moon in the ceramic or the gray side of the moon, or you could do the white ceramic dial Speedmaster. Those are pretty cool. The Tudor Black Bay chronograph is a pretty cool watch. Grand Seiko has quite a few chronographs. Their new movement is called the Tentograph, and that's a very cool thing. If you want something that's a little more what you call a lecturer's watch, you'd have to tell people why it's different. If you like the idea of the Rolex Daytona, check out the Zenith Chronomaster Sport, I believe it's called. It basically looks sort of like a Rolex Daytona, but is a little different and very cool looking. IWC Pilot Watch chronographs. There's a bunch of options there. I'm sure there's a lot I am not thinking of right now, but there's like 6 different options for you. Last one, and then we are going to wrap this show for today and pick it back up on Wednesday. Larry Casilla's whimsical analogies. In an episode of Zip Tie Tuning, is that a show? I don't know. A window sticker was shown for a base 1997 BMW Z3 of $44,000, which is around $91K adjusted for inflation. Hot take, considering performance and build quality, cars have become a bargain. This car must have been a turd even back then. According to the sources attached, 1997 car loan interest rates were as high as 9%, which is higher than they've been for 20 years. Thoughts? I mean, I remember when the Z3 came out, and it was launched in James Bond GoldenEye. It was the Bond car. And it was kind of a turd. I remember this. The 4-cylinder Z3 was really expensive for the time, and it was really slow. I don't think they put a big price premium on the M when that came out, because I don't think the price went up. And I think the prices leveled off a little. Like time went on and the car didn't get more expensive, I think. But yeah, I mean, that car notwithstanding, in a lot of cases you do get more money than you get more value in a car than you've ever gotten before. The problem is wages have not caught up.
So I just looked up $1 in 1997 is $2 today.
Yeah.
So and that's slightly different. Like that's our purchasing power.
Right. But wages have not kept up.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
that's right. That's right.
So for a lot of people, cars feel more expensive than they've ever been, even though the actual value delivered per dollar is higher if you can afford to pay that dollar in the first place.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you're right, and that sucks. That's our show. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you next time. Zach and I are going to record one from a car. We have to go on a little drive, and we're going to be in a car talking, but we'll get to the rest of these questions then. We appreciate the Patreon. Of course, more than anything, they're going to keep us afloat over at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. So please join up and get one of the extra levels of benefit if you can, and we'll see you next time. Bye.